Hey guys, and welcome to Gwent, the Witcher card game. My name is Jaggerous, and the season of the bear has begun, which means we have a new special seasonal mode for the season. And in this new seasonal mode, effectively what happens is after you mulligan in the first round, we banish both of our decks, which means we have no more cards to play, and neither do our opponents. So that is the new game mode, and I have a special Nilfgaard deck for you guys to play in this mode. So the deck I have for you guys is an Enslave deck. This is a Nilfgaard leader ability, and what it does is you seize an enemy unit with 3 power or less. This value is increased by 1 for every 4 tactic cards in your starting deck. And our starting deck has 12 tactic cards in it, so that means that we can seize up to a 6 from our opponent. Because in this game mode, our leader ability is really going to be key in allowing us to win the game. I really feel like having a powerful leader ability is good, and we're not really compromising ourselves by having to play this many tactics because so many of our cards get banished that we can fill the deck with low provision cost tactics because we're very unlikely to have to play them all. So it's kind of a tactical decision, shall we say. Jaggerous, you funny. So in terms of our tactics, we have, some good tactics. We have Bribery, which will allow us to create and play a unit from our opponent's starting deck. We have Treason in here. We can use that to choose an enemy unit and then damage adjacents. But beyond that, we have a lot of low provision cost stuff. Assassination, we damage a unit by 6, which is then decreased for every unit adjacent. We have the Tourney Joust. We can use this to remove an enemy unit shield to damage it by 4, or give an allied unit shield and boost it by 4. And we have the Battle Prep, boost an allied unit by 3 and give it 2 armor. If it's a soldier, boost it by 5. Because chances are we won't have to play all of these, so that is quite kind of clever. Then because our leader ability is so powerful, we also have our good friend Damien in here, and he has an order that allows us to refresh our leader's ability. So this is quite useful if we can basically replay the Enslave. That would be really good. And to combo with that, we do also have our Defender, which is Fion, and when you play him, you spawn and play another Battle Prep. So he's 2 strength with 2 armor, but we can use this to boost him up by 5 and give him 2 more armor to make him harder to remove. Then we also have Stefan, who kind of goes quite well with this combo. We use him to spawn and play a copy of the last tactic card we already played. Ideally, we want to use this for Bribery, but, we do have other tactics we can play. The deck is full of tactics, so we should be able to see decent value out of him. Then we have some interesting cards, okay? Because there's no mulligans after the first mulligan, it allows us to do some cool things. Like we can play Tibor. Tibor, we play him and our opponent summons the top unit from their deck, except that all of their deck is banished, so they don't summon anything. We just play 13 points. We have Vilgefortz, and when we play him on the melee row, we can destroy an enemy unit. And then our opponent summons the top unit from their deck, but their deck is empty, so they summon nothing. Then we have Shillard. We can use this to set the power of the highest unit in your opponent's hand to 1, and they can't then mulligan the Shillard target. So typically, Shillard's a bit awkward because you have to kind of wait to round 3 to play him so that they can't just get rid of what you set to 1. But in this situation, we can kind of get away with it. We also actually have Imperial Golem here. Reveal the top unit from your opponent's deck and damage self by its power. But our opponent has no units in their deck, so this is just a straight 11-point play. So you can kind of see what's going on here. We have some more synergy with our tactics. We have the Hefty Helga. This order allows it to damage unit by 2, and you gain 1 charge whenever you play a tactic. So because we've got lots of tactics, that's nice. Swears is going to allow us to seize an enemy unit with 3 or less power from our opponent, so just kidnap more of our opponent's cards. We have Glynis. Glynis, she has a Assimilate too, so if we play our opponent's cards, then she gets stronger. And because we're running things like Experimental Remedy, which plays a bronze unit from your opponent's graveyard, and Imperial Diplomacy, this tactic, create and plays a bronze card from your opponent's faction. Because we have these tactics in here, these synergize quite nicely with the Assimilate tag because we're playing our opponent's cards. We have Peter. This just allows us to reset a unit, so set it back, heal it back up or bring it back down, which is quite nice. We have the single Imperial Diviner, which is going to give us Purification, so we can maybe try and stop our opponent's defenders tags. And then we have this filler card here, the Hunter. If we play him on the melee row, we give an enemy unit bleeding, and we play him on the range row, we lock a unit. So it's nice to just have the option of a lock in the deck. So that is the seasonal Enslave deck. If you like this deck, maybe leave a like on the video. And without further ado, let's jump into a seasonal game, and I'll showcase this deck in action for you.
Patience is not a virtue I am known to have.
Okay, so we are against another Nilfgaard deck, and this is Double Cross, which allows them to create and play a card from our hand, which is a nice inclusion because chances are we're going to have, you know, pretty good cards in our hand. We're going first, which is good in that we get an extra mulligan, but is also bad in that if we play a card and he passes, we will be down a card for the rest of the game unless we can keep up. So if you're going first, I honestly think that actually the best strategy is to well, there goes all our cards. I think our best strategy is actually just to dry pass here. Because we're not drawing into any cards, by playing a card, it basically puts us at a disadvantage. And what this means is now our opponent has to play a card. And then they'll have 9 cards for the next round. I don't know why he's playing Treherne. He's looking at the top 3 cards in our deck and moving one to the graveyard when we don't have a deck. This person may not have actually made a deck specific to this round. So now we go into the next round. We're like up a card now. So if he chooses to play into this round, then we're ahead basically. Because as long as we can stay ahead, we'll keep our card. I think this is what happens when you play seasonal mode really early in the season. People just get a bit confused. He's like, where are my cards? What's going on? I don't understand what happened. Oh, he can look at 2 random gold cards from his deck and play one of them. He just gave me points. Oh no. Oh no, you guys, I think... Oh, it's okay. Oh, he's played our defender. Okay, so we're just going to straight purify this. I mean, we could enslave it. And that would cost our leader ability though, which is a bit expensive. So he's going to battle prep it. This does give him a pass. But I do think this is probably still correct to just purify that and not have to deal with it. So let's do that, and we'll see what he does. He must be so confused. Apparently, some new players do think that seasonal means ranked. Like, there's a bit of a terminology issue where, because you have different rank seasons, people can be kind of confused, and that can be a little bit of a problem. So, I think... what we'll do is, because we're going to be playing some tactics, we may as well play our good friend Hefty Helga. Again, it gives our opponent the opportunity to pass and get their card back, but I'm not overly worried about this round, so I think it's probably fine. We don't have any soldiers, which means that the battle prep's kind of awkward. He's going to lock it. That's a shame. So, we would quite like to get ahead here. And I think the best way to do that is, are we going to see a better Peter target? Maybe not. So we could just reset this. And then that puts us ahead. He's already played his leader ability, so we don't have to worry about that unless he plays Damien. We don't have removal options for Damien, unfortunately. So that is a thing. Okay, so if we play Shillard, this is still going to ping. So again, it's just about thinking about how to stay ahead. We could play the battle prep. I think this is a good opportunity, and then we're not spending too much in terms of our cards. So let's just do that. I like it. I'm happy with this play. Puts us ahead. Puts armor on this, which kind of affects this. And all in all is a pretty comfortable position. So... the question we have is, will this hit the armor? Because if we think this is going to hit the armor, we can get away with playing this. What we could actually do is we could play Glynis. Because this should put us ahead. And it means that the odds are that the pikeman won't hit the armor. And then we can play the Imperial Diplomacy and get the boost off of this. Okay, so we're just going to enslave that. We just take that from him. That is our leader charge there, 100%. Okay, so we'll have that, please. And then if we want to guarantee the refresh, we'd play this. But he may just pass here. In which case we would rather save this for the next round. So let's play this. See what we get. We got another assimilate unit. Obviously the spotter's not going to work. We're not going to reveal a unit from our deck. And we can't banish anything. So the assimilate is probably nice. Although, do we have any other ways of playing assimilate? We don't really. In which case what we should take is the Viper Witcher just because it's worth the most points.
Time to get our hands dirty.
And if our opponent doesn't pass here, they're going to be in a really sad position because we get to refresh our leader ability. And then we just play Shillard and put their strongest unit to 1. And there's the pass. Okay. So, the question is, do we value our leader ability more than our card? And I think the answer is yes, right? In which case, what we should do now is play Shillard, and then trigger Damien, so that we get our leader ability back. And then pass. Oh. Why can I click this again? There we go. A little bit of lag going on. Then end our turn. Cool. So now he has a 1-point unit in his hand. We have our leader back. We can then play our leader a 3rd time because of how we drew the hand. We have an 11-point golem. All in all, I feel like we're in a pretty happy spot. We're not drawing any new cards. We're going to pop our defender down, boost him up, and see what our opponent chooses to do. Although we are going to enslave potentially a 1-point unit. That's the other, I guess, slight concern with the strategy that we've played here, is we're kind of countering ourselves with the Shillard, but I still think it's worth playing. There it is. So we're getting poisoned. So now we play Damien. And then end our turn. The only thing is we're only going to be able to take our opponent's next 2 units. Like this unit and the next one that he plays, because we have to go last. I think it's fine though. I mean, we get Leo and we get Poison Friendo. So we'll take his card. Yoinkity yoink. Trigger this. Is it going to lag again? It's going to lag again. Come on. You can do it, Damien. I believe. Tumpty tumpty. There we go. We'll yoink this too. For me. Play our golem. And he doesn't hurt himself. And we have 27 points. And a defender. So, yeah. This is such a silly game mode. Such a silly game. Wait, we have... we have 28 points. Oh, he gave us more points. You guys, what a lovely fellow. What a kind player. I don't think our opponent's deck was... I don't think our opponent's deck was optimized for this game mode, but you can see how our deck is and why it's quite powerful. So let's jump into another game and I'll showcase the seasonal deck for you one more time.
The North shall tuck tail and beg for mercy.
Okay, so again, we're going first, and I think the best strategy when you're going first is just to dry pass. If you're going second, I would say that the best strategy is to play. So if you're going second, I think it's smarter to play into the round, basically. I'm going to keep the assassination, I think, because we want a tactic to play with Stefan. We'll kick the... Do we kick the lock? Yeah, I think we kick the lock. And then we'll kick the joust. And yeah, it's fine. So yeah, if we were going second and our opponent chose to play into round 1, we would always just try and stay ahead of them as much as we could. But in the current situation, I do really like the dry pass here. Because, like I say, we're not drawing any more cards. I'll have to wait and see what our opponent chooses to do. Hopefully, they have a slightly more... what's the word? A slightly more... developed deck for this game mode. That's what I will say. So, we got our defender, we got Damien, we got Stefan, we got Tibor, we got Swears, we got a pretty solid hand. We have Vilgefortz. Like, I'm really happy with this, all things considered.
Praise be to the great sun!
Okay, so I'm not sure if he wants to play this round or not, but the fact that he's played into the round makes me think we should probably play 2. So if we want to get some kind of room for maneuver, then I think playing Tibor is actually, you know, fine. Because this then puts us ahead, and it means that we should be able to gain a card on our opponent. And I think that's a pretty powerful strategy. We're also looking for Swears targets. Doo-doo, not a bad inclusion. Not a bad inclusion. It means he does just, you know, play 13 points, and that's kind of annoying. But it also gives us a good Vilgefortz. So maybe we just take the Vilgefortz now. So let's just burn that. I'm not sure we're going to see a better Vilgefortz. Maybe removing things like defenders or, you know, Stefan and Damien and stuff could be quite good. But we have other options for that. We have the Purify. We have our leader to kidnap if our opponent plays it. So we're actually in a pretty comfortable spot. We've played some pretty decent tempo as well, because now you can see our opponent's not ahead of us, which allows us to then play the Helga. and then start to play our tactics. We could actually also opt potentially to play Stefan this round. Because we're playing the tactics this round, it's not awful. So our opponent has Uma into a Plague Maiden, spawn 7 rats. If it dies, they get 7 rats. Okay, and I'm feeling quite cocky. So if we're feeling cocky, we should play Stefan now, rather than on the next turn. So let's just do that.
What do you need me to do?
We don't really want to boost our 13, so we're just going to float the damage here. We don't need it to win the round. And we'll see what our opponent chooses to do. It may be that he has removal. Okay, he has Vigo. And again, I just feel like our opponents aren't playing optimized seasonal lists, which is kind of a shame. Oh, he's got a lock. You know, not awful. He's going to probably lock him. We could just purify this. You know what? Let's do that. I was saving this to stop his defender, but screw it. Let's purify Stefan. Is that what we want to do? Yeah. Yeah, let's purify Stefan.
All these signs can mean but one
if it was Damien, it would be even better. We don't need the damage yet, so let's just wait. And then if we double play the diplomacy, we also get the diviner triggers, which is quite nice. And the only unit he can really play here is the diviner, which isn't great for him.
That's all I need.
If we had bribery, obviously this would be even better, but I think this is probably going to be fine.
From a sparrow's innards.
So let's play diplomacy, and we'll grab the pikeman. Boost off by 1 for each attack. That's a 5. I mean, let's take this. I like it. Then we'll trigger Stefan. Play it again. Maybe take another assimilate unit. Boost an allied unit by 7. I mean, this isn't awful, to be honest, because we can also protect this. And actually, I'm thinking about it, burning the doo-doo Tibor was nice, because now he can't pick it back up off the board with his leader and, you know, save it for the next round. Just as a little bit of hindsight there. So let's boost this, and then let's kill some of his assimilates. There's one. We'll ping this as well. And we will end our turn. And then I guess we play Swears next. We could play the assassination, but I'm just worried about not having a Swears target. It's kind of the fear, you know? I don't know what he's going to pick. I guess you would pick... I was going to say, I guess you would pick the pikeman so that you can, you know, counter with damage. So we'll just kill this. Oh, there's a Swears target. Oh, play it on the end of the row. Go on, play it on the end of the row. Oh, you silly goose. Do we leader this? I don't hate leadering it. He's played his leader now. I mean, we can just kill it. But if we leader it and he passes, we don't get to trigger it unless we play another card. So we'd have to play 2 of our cards. So I think we probably just assassinate this for now. Let's do that. I like it. I think it's a pretty powerful choice, all things considered. So he double-crossed us. For some reason I thought this was the Amir ability, but it's not. It was play 1 from my hand. So he got a choice of these ones, and he's still playing cards. Whenever you lose a round, return this unit from your hand to the battlefield. So that's probably the target, right? Actually, no, what we'll do is we'll play Fionn. Okay, here you guys go. We're going to play Fionn, and this is going to give us a tactic. So we're going to play that and boost him, which gives us an extra charge on the Helga, which means we can just kill Ciri and then end our turn. And now we have a leader. We have some pretty powerful yoinky cards. And our opponent has forfeited. So there we go. That this deck I made is so dumb. It's such a dumb deck. And bear in mind you're going to start seeing these things come out in seasonal. So if you want to get your wins in early, this is the kind of deck to play. And that's why I like to release my seasonal deck guides as early as possible for you. I feel kind of bad for my opponents, if I'm completely honest. Like, these were definitely very one-sided games. But if you do like the deck, maybe leave a like. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And what sort of decks would you like to see on the channel this season. You can also subscribe to the channel. You can find me on Twitter at Jaggerous and on Twitch, twitch.tv/Jaggerous. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a lovely day. And hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye!